Hello. On one of my visits to Scotland with Mr. Mackey, I picked up this beautiful book. It's called Greyfriars, Bobbie. It's written and illustrated by Ruth Brown, and it is a Anderson Press publication from Scotland. Now let me tell you, when I was a little girl, long time ago, there was a movie on television. It was a black and white movie, so it's a very long time ago, about this little dog, and the movie's title was also called Greyfriars, Bobbie, and I loved it so much I had to buy the book. So I'm wanting to share that with you today. I hope you enjoy it. Greyfriars, Bobbie. I'm fed up with sightseeing, moaned Tom. It's too hot and I'm thirsty. Well, you're in luck, said Becky. Here's a fountain. Have a drink. It's a drinking fountain for people and dogs, said Tom, reading the inscription. A tribute to the affectionate fidelity of Greyfriars, Bobbie. In 1858, this faithful dog followed the remains of his master to Greyfriars churchyard and lingered near the spot until his death in 1872. That's a long time ago. Let's go into the churchyard, said Tom. Before I turn the page, I'd like to tell you that this is an actual spot in Scotland, in Edinburgh, which is the capital city of Scotland. Do you think we would have seen Bobbie the dog if we'd come here 100 years ago? Oh, of course you would, said the gardener. He'd have been lying in the sun in this special place that was his home for the last years of his life. That's the entranceway into the churchyard. Back then you would have found him sound asleep, dreaming of the days before he lived in the churchyard. Those were the days when Bobbie used to help his master, old Jock, guard the cattle, which were brought into the city each evening for the market the following day. And there he is, looking after the cattle. The story goes that in the mornings after work, Jock and Bobbie would visit the cafe owned by Mrs. Ramsay, who would always save special tidbits for Bobbie. A bone, a bun, or even a piece of pie. And there he is. On their rare days off, they'd walk for miles on the hills where old Jock had lived as a boy. Wow, look at that beautiful Scottish countryside. In the winter they would stay in the city, still guarding the cattle despite the freezing winds and bitter cold that eventually made old Jock so ill that he died. Oh, that's a bit sad. But it gets very, very cold in Scotland. And on a grey morning, Bobbie followed his master for the last time to the churchyard of Greyfriars. He got as close as he could to old Jock, and that's where he stayed. But how cold and hungry he was that night, huddled against the great granite stones. He remembered the cafe. If he went there by himself, would there still be a bone, a bun, or a piece of pie saved for him? Gosh, he looks a bit cold, doesn't he? Poor wee Bobbie. Of course there was. And when Mrs. Ramsay found out where Bobbie was living, there was food for him every day. The people were so touched by the loyalty of the little dog that they looked out for him and looked after him. Oh wow, that's really, really kind. He was given his own engraved collar and water bowl, and best of all, official permission to live in the churchyard, and that's where he stayed for 14 years. Wow. until finally he too was buried there near his beloved master, old Jock. What a story, said Becky. Aye, agreed the gardener. Bobbie never forgot his old friend. I don't think we'll ever forget Bobbie, said Tom. And that's the end of that story. This is a real dog in a real place and a real time in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and it's such a treat. If you're ever there, it's a beautiful place to go, and you can still see there's a wee statue of Greyfriars Bobbie, the lovely loyal wee Scottish Terrier. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, ka kite.